Well, I had a lot of issues growing up with self-image. I was one of three girls, and unfortunately, I put such a focus on my outer appearance that nothing else really mattered to me. I was never good enough in my own eyes, which carried over into every other decision I would possibly make. I'll always remember this story. And my sisters and I were best friends, and we're all so different, but we're so close. We all have very different body types. Like, I'm much curvier, I've got the curves. My other sister, she's very petite and thin. And my youngest sister, she has more of an athletic build. And so we were all just so different. And my mom would take us shopping. And I'll never forget when she would take us to Abercrombie, which was like the place in middle school. I would be sobbing in one fitting room because the jeans were too small and they were too low rise, and like I couldn't get them over my booty. And then my other sister would be in the other fitting room and she'd be crying because the jeans were too big and she couldn't fit into them. For me, I really attribute my body image issues with a lack of self-love. I did not have the confidence to take a job that I would maybe be too scared to take, or to get out of a relationship that I didn't feel happy in because I didn't think I could find anything better. If you do have, something that's holding you back, it's really important to gain some self-awareness, figure out what it is, and then heal that so that way you can gain confidence. Like, nothing is sexier to me than somebody who's just really confident in their craft and their skill. And I've never left a conversation with somebody and have been impacted by their outer appearance. It's been because of their energy or the way they carry themselves or their laugh, something that is so unique to them that has nothing to do with their outer shell. So if you are struggling with your body image or anything like that, just remember to put things in perspective.
No, the perspective thing is a really good point because, like, I remember in high school when I was also struggling with self-esteem, if I had like a pimple, I was like, oh my God, the day is over. Like, my life is ruined. I cannot talk to anybody. I want to stay home. Like, put a mask over my face. Because I just felt so like self-conscious. And like, if anybody saw it, like, wow, I'm going to look so ugly. But that is like what's going on in my mind. And like Claire sitting over in study hall, I was like, wow, this girl's so beautiful. Like, never noticed a pimple on my face. Like, we just focus on our imperfections so much and just make them so much bigger than what they are. And we're like self-centered in that way of making our issues seem
right
big.
Well, I still, no matter how much self-work I've put into it, I still have an off day. I'll look in the mirror, I'll wake up, and I just don't feel as confident. And I'm just like, why am I still at this point? I thought I got over this, but I do think it's a lifelong journey, learning to love yourself. It's something that you have to continue to work on, especially if you are someone like me and so much of a perfectionist. Sometimes it's easy to get bogged down by that. Just know that if you are really in the thick of struggling with it, it will get better. I so consumed by it. I didn't think I'd ever get to the point where I could wear a two-piece swimming suit or shorts. I literally didn't think I'd ever be able to wear shorts. And I know that sounds so dumb to maybe somebody, but that's how debilitating it can be if you don't take care of it. So yeah, putting things in perspective and just knowing that it might take time. It might take a couple months. It might take a whole lifetime. We all struggle and we all have our days. Mani and I can attest to that.
Yeah, and it definitely takes time. And a really good book that I read that helped, it's called The Gift of Imperfections by Brene Brown. It's just like a really solid book, but really to fully love yourself, you have to figure out what your subconscious beliefs are. And they're so deep in you from childhood that a lot of us, we live our lives based on those subconscious beliefs, but we are completely unaware of what they are.
Yeah.
So for me, one of my subconscious beliefs was that everybody else is better than me, or like, I'm not good enough. That's a big one for a lot of people, is like just the thought that I'm not enough. And I always thought of myself as inferior to other people because growing up, I would hear things like, oh, you're too selfish. And I was like, whoa, like I don't want to be selfish. But once I realized, like, okay, I have this thought that I'm less than other people. Is that true? no, it's not true. Like, I believe that we're all equal. Like, I know that we're all part of God or the universe, and everybody is one. And so once I just became aware of that belief, I was then able to change it. But you have to dive deep and figure out what those beliefs for you are, or you're going to be living from those beliefs. Which is how a lot of people live their life. Another one for me related to like body image was like, wow, no one is going to love me if I'm fat. No one's going to love me if I have acne. Is that true? No, it's not true at all. But that is just another subconscious belief that I had. So I'd be really terrified about gaining weight because I'm never going to find love if I have like a fat roll on my stomach. When you say it out loud, it's crazy, but it's something that was in my head. And then when I was able to like bring that to the surface, I could change that and like let it go. But it does take some like deep work because there's stuff that you've lived with since childhood.
Yeah.
And yeah, even the self-love, being selfish, like that was another one that both of us had, that once we brought to the surface, we could change.
I just wanted to go off of something that you said too, because like Monica said, it can be easy to just, until you say it out loud and realize how kind of crazy it sounds, you might just keep believing what you yourself are telling you. So something too that we learned in Michael Singer's book, a good practice he said to do was pretend that your mind and your thoughts are your best friend. When I say, Claire, you look really fat today, I say that in my head, sadly, I probably have. I would never say that to Monica. I'd never say, Monica, you look really fat today. So he said, treat your thoughts like they're your bestie. And we've put that on our Instagram a few times, but it's just a good practice to remember.
Pretend that, okay, you have this person sitting next to you. They're following you around all day.
Yeah.
And the thoughts that you're thinking is what this person is saying to you all day. Mm-hmm. Would you be friends with that person? You'd be like, no, I want them out of my life. Like, get the fuck out of my house. You're so rude. You're a bitch, right? But we live with that and we listen to that in our head. Mm-hmm. So that's what we mean when we say treat yourself like you would a best friend, because like Claire said, I would never say, oh, Claire, you look really ugly today.
No.
But if I say that subconsciously to me, it's like, oh, yeah, I do. Another subconscious belief that I became aware of more recently that was so deep and I had no idea it was there, but I had this subconscious belief that there was something wrong with me. And like I had this shame around it. And I think it was because like I am an empath and I feel a lot. Mm-hmm. And so growing up, I was always told to get thicker skin or like, oh, you're too sensitive. And I was like, oh my gosh, like there's something wrong with me. Like I'm just misunderstood. People don't understand me. And I always thought like I was like the odd one out, but now becoming aware of that and loving myself, I know that being an empath is my gift and like feeling is actually my gift. And I shouldn't run away from that because it can be scary to feel so much. My intuition is also strong and it's definitely my gift.
Yeah.
And just changing my views on that, then I can guide myself into something that fits my strengths.
Right.
And
well, it's interesting too that you bring that point up because I don't know, I think I just saw this quote somewhere and it was like, we don't need more successful businessmen or rich people. We need more empaths and healers and people that have those gifts to help heal our world. Because when you and I are sitting here talking about this, I feel so lucky because I don't think a lot of people have somebody like how I have you to confide in with this sort of thing. People typically don't tend to get this deep, I feel like. So right. It's a blessing to be able to just like sit here and talk about things like this. It's almost like a therapy session. Like everybody needs to have this in the world. Right now, especially, like I wish everybody could.
Everybody has feelings and there's like a reason for them. They're not you. They're just literally energy passing through your system. And it's when we like suppress them and try to like hold on to them that there's no good emotions. There's no bad emotions. It's just, it's an emotion. It is what it is.
Yeah.
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 We talked about a lot of deep shit too.
No.
what I told myself before this to make me feel more comfortable is like, I'm literally just FaceTiming my best friend.
And I hope people like feel that too. I wish that we were all just like sitting with some wine, chatting. I never want it to come across scripted. We never want that. I can always tell when we're both just like in the zone, like feeling more comfortable. And I hope comes across through the screen.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening to our talk on self-love. We just think it's so important, and we really hope that you take the time to figure yourself out and to fully love yourself, because you're amazing. There's a reason that you're here, no matter what anybody's told you. Like, you're not here by accident, and just learn to trust yourself, because you know what's best, and we want you to live a happy, fulfilling life. Message us if you have any questions or book recommendations.
And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with our videos, and we'll see you next Sunday.